there in that situation. So where is this all coming from? Story is also to do a lot with creating imaginations. And not everybody is well versed with storytelling. Storytelling is something which everybody doesn't get it very easily. How many of you agree to that aspect? Right? Storytelling sabko nahi hota hai. Sabse nahi hota hai. Only certain people can do it. Certain people will just fall flat. The story will start and we will know what the end is. And we say, hey, chhod dena yaar, we know what it is. Correct? Now, I will give you a few technical elements because as a teacher, as a facilitator, as a guide, as a support, you should know in and out of what storytelling is all about. It's not just verbalization, it's not about visualization, it is much more. So I'm going to walk you through, I'm going to upload the PPT now. Can Sujata ma'am, would you be able to give me an access, please? Sujata ma'am, Dimple ma'am, anybody in the chat, please give me an access to upload my PPT, please. Oh God. Are nobody there? Can anybody?
Yeah, ma'am, we are there. 1 second, ma'am.
Ma'am, giving ma'am.
Radhika ma'am, thank you for confirmation.
Everybody are there, ma'am, listening to you right from the beginning, enjoying.
I wanted to understand if we, because no acknowledgement, so I just thought, pata nahi ho.
Yeah, I understand.
Sorry, teachers, just a few seconds and we should be up. I've not been given access yet, ma'am.
1 second, ma'am. Let me also check.
మీరు ఎక్కడ ఉన్నారు మ్యామ్? ఓ ఇక్కడ లేరా మేడం?
Ma'am, I think you are able to do it now.
Yes. Thank you so much for the confirmation. I got it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. A little inconvenience. Teachers, please bear with us.
Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why it's echoing.
Yeah, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. So we will start our journey where it's going to be a combination of the artistic element, okay, of storytelling and the scientific element. As a teacher, whether we are, we are going to be whichever crowd may be, even if it's a young toddler who is coming to you, or a grown-up child. As a teacher, you should know what elements of storytelling can produce what kind of inputs in the body. Okay, so we will walk around. I'll walk you through this whole thing, and we'll talk about this as we go along. So the fundamental element is we're going to understand about storytelling, and I know, especially you know it even more better, that for a child, okay, the basic need of a child is on a couple of things, right? Materialistic need is something which is by default there, right? It might not be very high, but it's not low, keeping today's generation in mind. Materialistic things are always on the high, because there's a lot of comparison when a child comes to the school and looks at other peer friends and peer classmates. So materialistic need is one where a child feels the need to have a parents connect. Second one that we are talking about is another important element, not just for the child but also for an adult. Need to be loved and be loved. So this is another element. Third element which is coming up, which is the need of a child, is need to know, which is where, when I asked you the first question of today, when I started the session and I said, what do you understand by story? What is a feeling that you get? Then somebody from the faculty replied that they need to know for information. This is what it is. Need to achieve. Now, where do you think this falls into place in storytelling? Anybody? Where do you think need to achieve comes in when it comes to storytelling? Need to be loved, need to know, materialistic thing, will come to that aspect again. But need to achieve, what does that mean? How is
Maybe
it
the moral
relevant
of the
to?
story?
Yes.
By teaching the moral of the story?
That means building up the character, right? Yes. You're trying to build up the character of the child, right?
Understanding, ma'am. Understanding
Yes.
moral.
Understanding morals. Why morals? Because you have to make a character. Correct?
Yes.
To make the character of a child, right? You know,
Especially space reading, ma'am.
sorry, ma?
Expressions.
Yeah, expressions. Yes, but I'm talking in particularly in terms of need to achieve.
Okay.
Only in particularly to need to achieve.
Okay, ma'am.
So that is basically the moral of the story, the takeaway of the story, what you want to teach the child, correct? And why are we doing that? Because we need the child to build up that character. Yes or no? Right? Next.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. 1 second. There are so many admissions. I wish somebody else is handling this. Next that we are looking at is do you see something in the bottom of the left side which says need of spiritual security? Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. What does that mean? A child's basic need, one of the basic need is need of spiritual security. Matlab, parent security हो गया, school security हो गया, brother sister security हो गया, cab security हो गया, bus security हो गई. What is spiritual security?
Safety.
Spiritual.
Spirituality.
Try.
It's about God and the believing in God, and whenever we are in trouble, someone is there to save us.
Belief system.
Faith in God.
Correct. Belief system. Correct. Do you agree? There is some supernatural power there. You can name whatever you want to name, but a child needs to understand that there is a supernatural power which is governing this whole universe, right? Yes or no? And it is beyond the parents. It is stronger than the parents. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Next, need to belong. We know this factor very, very evidently. You know, I know, even after being, married for so many years, sometimes, when your in-laws sit together, the husband's brother, mother, father, sister, then the father-in-law's brother, if that family and all are suddenly sitting and you'll be like, shit, man, I'm still feeling left out, even after 20 years into the marriage, you still feel that, oh my, this is a family together talk time happening. Oh, I don't really belong here, because there is another discussion that's happening. Have you ever felt?
Yeah, ma'am.
I have felt it too. Children feel it even more because they are very new to the world. So they still sometime back they were used to home. Then Corona happened, even more got used to home. Now they're getting used to teacher and school and new environment and driver bhaiya and the Ayama auntie and everybody. So they need to be felt to be belong to a certain place. They feel they need to be wanted. They need to be loved. So why am I giving this importance is all your stories that you're going to start using for the children of this age, they have to be a permutation combination of all these elements. Do that make sense? A child, when you say need to belong, you should make the child feel that if he's a part of that story, then how would he feel? Right? If he was a part of the story, how would you have handled the situation differently? Right? So belonging is a story should not be out of the context story. It should be something where a child can relate and understand, feel belonged. Do I make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Can we now? I'm just giving you this. This is something all of you are experts in. But as a facilitator, I feel the need to let all of you know. So I put it as an Excel sheet. So this is age and the interest that people develop in terms of the reading habit. Okay, you know it better as a faculty, you know it better as a teacher, but this is again just for your information. Not much of we don't have to really ponder over this, but mostly mota 2-year-old and below, they should be able to identify some pictures, some sounds, and 3 and 6 years of old, they should be able to even hum. If they cannot pronounce, they should be able to hum. But 6 years, they should be able to even say the rhyme pretty easily, right? 6 to 7 is all sorted. They love reading, and they are more animal centric. I don't know how many of you have observed that. Even cartoon, but they need animals. They are very animal centric age, that is. Okay, just to let you know, this is not something that you really need to get worked up upon, but it's nice to know information. So I'm just sharing it. 8 to 10 years again. Then remember, love stories about real children. Now, love stories doesn't necessarily mean those love stories. Love stories between mother, child, love story between grandparents and grandchild, love story between a teacher and a child, love story between an animal and a child. So there's so many love stories that way. Okay, having said that, 11, 12, we are all done. We're all done. So this is not where we need to worry about. I was talking to you about the history in the beginning of the session. As they go higher, history becomes a storytelling for them. I very, very vividly remember. We used to in our school. I was raised in Orissa, so there was a teacher called Geeta Man. Okay, a beautiful soul, amazing. a history subject which people used to, it was such a dry subject and people would make it even more worse. This lady had the knack of making the chapter so interesting. I do not remember once when she has ever opened her book and read. Not once has she ever opened her book and read. She would do her homework or whatever that is at the background, but when she used to come to the class, it was only story, story, story. That's about it. And all the class, all my classmates managed to get wonderful marks in history thanks to her. Do you remember any of your teachers who has ever made your subject very interesting? No?
Yes, ma'am. I remember that my Hindi teacher used to play the character herself. She used to get ready in that way and come to class so that we can guess what's the story today.
Seriously?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She was.
Amazing. No, it's such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful way of teaching a particular subject. Amazing. Can we all go on mute, please? Deepti garu, Mamata garu, can we all go on mute, please?
One phone में set one.
Can somebody help me mute? Okay, I'm doing it. Guys, I'm so sorry, but I have to mute you guys, otherwise it's going to be very tough. Right. So why did I ask you that question? Why did I ask you about your teacher and your facilitator about how she made the subject interesting? And it was done as a depiction of a story. Anything when it is done differently is an eye catch for the audience. And history is one subject that has beautifully been said by my ma'am, by Geeta ma'am, and I can still not forget her, though I never took history after that. I never liked that subject. But because of that lady, I used to, feel very interested being in the class. So this is where the story belongs, right? Now, when we talk about understanding of what story means, it's a very simple experiential definition, which says stories are the most powerful meaning of language teaching, even in English, or a Hindi teacher. At the end of the day, language was something that we were able to hear and listen, correct? A skill that developed more efficient listening and more fluent speaking, right? And an ability to read, write easily and competently. Now, this is how much powerful a story has. A story is not just a story. It has the capability of making your mind think, making your mind creative, improving your listening skills, improving your reading ability, improving your vocabulary, improving your fluency in adapting to new words and new terminologies. Sometimes even to a large extent helps you in writing as well. Right? That is the power of story. It is not just sharing information. It is all of this, plus much, much more. That plus I'm going to walk you through in a bit. Right? Now, do you see the slide? Right? So why storytelling? Ultimate number of reasons why story needs to be there. That's why I started the class with when did we start listening to stories? When we were young. And some kids even learn it or listen it from the womb. Okay? So it is about who we are. It is about me. It is about you. So when I say, can you introduce me? Can you introduce yourself to me, please? Could you tell me a little more about yourself, please? I would love to know more about you. Would you mind sharing, please? So when I ask you these questions, how do you think you're going to tell me your story? Listen, you only have 3 minutes to impress me. Only 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, you have to speak whatever best that you can. And I have to be interested in you after that. So What is it all about? What will you think in 3 minutes will you add?
Actions and roles. Suspense only.
Sorry, come again.
Role play and action. Suspense, ma'am.
Voice modulation, ma'am.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. I don't think you understood the question. If I ask you, could you introduce yourself to me, please? Could you speak about yourself, please? Could you share something very interesting about you, please? I would love to know more about you, please. And you only have 3 minutes. You don't have more time. Only 3 minutes. Kaise bologe? Jaldi bolo. Whoever wants to give it a shot, I'm going to stop presentation. We'll come back to this in a bit. 3 minutes is all you got. 3 minutes में अपने बारे में बोलना है. And mind you, it has to be very impressive. Take 1 minute to comprehend your thoughts. And then go ahead, unmute and start answering. Anybody wants to try?
Yeah, hi, ma'am. My name is Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
I'm in Kondapur branch, ma'am. I belong to Kondapur branch.
Okay.
And I have done MSc in microbiology.
Huh.
Ma'am, actually, I'm very much interested in science subject.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, with your expressions, I'm getting.
Because I cannot think of anybody with so much of studies, and says I love science, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Yes, I love science, and I want to know more about the science subject. And even I want to do PhD also in that. And I
Okay.
have worked as a lab technician in Medicity Hospital, ma'am. And I was very interested in knowing about the bacteria. So
That's interesting.
I was in that field only, but because of some reasons, of personal reasons, I stopped working in this lab. So I choose the teaching field, ma'am. And I love playing and talking to the children, like play school mostly, because of the creativity. As you told many things in the training also, I have attended the training. I love it. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have given me a lot of information in the training also. And I want to know more and more. And as you told me, I was not much interested in this meeting, but as I have seen the storytelling, by that I got impressed, ma'am. So I want to know more and more how I have to improve myself in this storytelling field. So I love it, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Beautifully introduced. And in certain places, you were very evident. Huh? I love it so much. It was like, wow, I can feel that love it so much, feeling till here. I live in Indira Park and you are at, Kondapur. I can still get that feeling. Good. Anybody else who wants to try? Anybody else who wants to try? How would you introduce yourself to me, to all of us, in 3 minutes time flat? Anybody wants to try? It's okay. It's okay. So I can wait for one more person to try.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I am Deepa from Ballari branch, Karnataka.
Yes, Deepa Garu. Go on.
Ma'am, so I have started working with the children from my childhood. Like when my sister gave birth to a son and I was with him, I was very much excited that the way he talk, he speak, he does the things and all. I was very much interested. And from then I started, mingling with the children, what they do, how they do, and learning. From there it has started. Till now, the interest is in that level itself. So how
it
many
didn't go high?
innocence, that smile, that environment, that love, and if we scold us, they'll come to us back. That makes me like, yes, go back there only. No, don't go to higher
Amazing.
higher
Amazing.
class and all. So from almost 15 years, I'm in this field, and I want to be in nursery, arts, and junior and senior. Senior, much I don't like.
That's
So,
okay. That's okay. Senior comes with its own headache. That is fine. But senior comes with its own learning as well. So,
yes.
Rebecca ji and Deepa ji, bahut thank you. Very beautifully introduced yourself.
Thank you,
Right.
ma'am.
Right. Thank you so much. So, when you are talking about 3 minutes of yourself being introduced, what went into your mind? Can you be honest and tell me? What went into your mind? What details did you want to say, not say? What details do you want to add? Why did you only say that I have 15 years of experience? Why did you tell about your sister who delivered a baby and your first-hand experience within at home? Why did you even say all that, Deepa ji? Why was it even required? Very right, Aruna ji, because it makes you special. मैं घर से बचपन से घर में ही, there's a Hindi saying, घर में हाथ साफ करना. Experimenting everything at home. Your sister's son, your nephew was your first bakra. Okay, so you did whatever you had to do with that little fellow. You must have made mistakes while cutting nails. You must have made, a mishap would have happened when you're combing his hair. A mishap would have happened when you're putting kajal in his eyes, right? Things would have happened, right? Yes, no. So we learn. And why did I ask you? Because I wanted that unique feeling. I wanted to understand what made you feel that desperation, Rebecca ji and Deepa ji, that you decided to be with these youngsters. And whatever you said was not just your introduction, it was your story. It was your story. It was you who lived that story. It is you who's saying that story. Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. And how you make that story interesting, how much ever dull a story can be, but if you can make it interesting with your expressions, with your smile, with your voice modulation, with your data that you're putting in, the information that you're putting in, the right kind of suspense which somebody had mentioned, I remember it well. All that put together can make a very dull story also interesting. And taking all of this, even an interesting story can become dull. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
The same thing happens with movies also. Movies also nothing but story.
I learned more and more, ma'am, while telling the story.
Correct. You are right.
Yeah. When I say normally the story to the senior kids or junior kids, what they will do, they'll show interest only few people. But when I make sounds, when I make my expressions different way, then
Correct.
they will be attracted to that. So I learn more and more by the children only.
Correct. They teach us a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And that
Yes.
is what is the art of a teacher. That is what is the talent of a teacher. A teacher can make a dull subject interesting just
Yes.
by putting herself into the picture and doing it for them.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And the same teacher can make it disinteresting also, even if the subject is interesting. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So keeping that in mind, I'll walk you through a few important elements. Let me know if you're able to see the slide. I'm just going to insert it now. Right? Now, a few important elements. Who are you is where I started this example from. How interesting, how special you can make yourself, so that the other person feels that, oh my God, I need to know about this person more, is also an art. That's why it's called storytelling. Talking about yourself is also a story. That's why I stopped there and gave you that example. Next, passing the knowledge. passing the information, passing the skill. Since the beginning of the time, this has been there. When we look at paintings in caves and all, they also have depict the story, right? They never knew how to write, but they knew how to draw. Yes or no? Yes or no? Or all the archaeologists and all do a lot of research and figure out the story behind it. Yes or no? Oh, maybe even that time they used to kill animals. Oh, this is the time that they started to learn how to rub both the rocks and create a fire. How do you think all that happened? It could be a picture depiction somewhere, correct? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Important element of story, which all the mothers do. Okay. Every mother, Chinnamma or aunts and everybody does is tell stories in mother tongue to build cultural awareness in the child. Right? So you talk, like in my case, you might still have some children like my daughter who doesn't talk any other language but English. We don't talk English, we talk English and Tamil. I talk a lot of Tamil when they were young, but my daughter still speaks only English. That is my problem, that I have to figure out how to handle that. And I'm just telling you, don't be surprised, but yes, they say language can be learned, a mother tongue can be learned when there is a lot of story that is being told in the same language. And a child has got the capability of learning 5 languages within 10 years of age. Are you all with me on that? Right? Next, children, if not all humans, enjoy listening to telling and telling stories. I love, even today, I still love listening to stories. I just love them. Okay, so you might have many of us in this class today. They are familiar with narratives and convention because they can identify and relate. And last but not the least, they can make predictions about what will happen next. That becomes more exciting. Yes, no, right? These are simple elements, but I will walk you through some more. Science, whether it's an art or a science, storytelling is an art or a science, people are very confused about. Can somebody go on mute, please? I think somebody's mic is on. Thank you. Okay, I have to admit somebody. Okay. So, when we say art has a lot to do with listening, creativity, imagination, color depiction, fat, small, big, huge, all that, when I say huge, the child will be imagining its own, whatever vocabulary it has got, whatever imagination it has got, it will start thinking the maximum. Same way, storytelling is a science. Okay, and why you need to understand, because it adds it adds a lot of value, and you as a teacher needs to understand how these expressions of story can create some good happy hormones, okay, in the child. I'm not saying you have to remember word to word. I'm just telling you, story has the power of releasing happy hormones. Right? So when you keep them engaged, when you ask them questions, when they are emotionally involved, when you ask them to guess what is the next phase that is going to be, when you ask them about how did they feel when a situation like this happened, all these trigger some elements in our some chemicals in our mind, okay, that eventually releases these important chemicals in our body that actually creates a lot of connectivity, togetherness, trust, reliability, okay. All these elements also come when we do a very good element of storytelling, where all these hormones get activated. Am I making sense to all of you? So,
Yes, ma'am.
so have Signs as a part of your storytelling. When these get released is when a child will be able to express his emotions even more better, will be able to relate even more better. So keeping this in mind, important again coming up, the story in a storytelling should be of critical 5 elements. All of you know this. I'm just reiterating. All of you know this. When it comes to the word called interesting, we know the word interesting. I don't want information there. I want the second part information. The second point. The story in storytelling should be dynamic. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's about the characters of the story.
No, we are talking about the story telling should be dynamic in nature. What does that mean?
Reality. Reality.
It should have masala. So it should have it should have fight, it should have crisis, it should have difficult times, then it should have happy moments. Dynamics is it will move.
Suspense of.
Everything you can add. It can be suspense, it could be drama, it could be exaggerated emotion, it could be anger, it could be frustration, it could be fight, it could be anything, but everything should be there in it. Some quotient of everything should be there in it. Why? Why should it be there?
To make it more interesting, ma'am.
Because too much of goodness, none of us can handle.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? How many of you remember one stupid story? Picture name I'm going to tell you. One very stupid picture it is. But Bagban, number 1. Number 2, Hum Saath Saath Hain. Okay? When you look at these 2 movie names, what comes to your mind?
Yes, ma'am.
It was very good, big. One it is big family. Joint family. Okay? Everybody is living happy. ऐसा कैसा होता है? हमारे घर में तो नहीं होता है. How come everybody is happy? ऐसा कैसा खुश रहते भाई सब? Then in between that mother will start acting like one mother-in-law. Okay? Then she will have some, तुम मेरा सोतेला बेटा है. तो तुम बाहर चले जाओ, तुमको business में हक नहीं है. And the brother will do one tyagam of leaving everything and going. Why even our Ramayanam had it? Do you remember Ramayanam or all of you forgot? What? Ram and Lakshman went, no? Ram and Lakshman went, no, to Vanvas. They went to Lanka later. When they went to Vanvas. Okay. And from there, then things had to happen even more dramatic. If everything is going good, we don't like it. Then we had Ravana kidnapping Sita. Then there also Sita started, all dynamics there also happened. My husband will only come and take me. Hanuman, you go away.
2 years కంప్లీట్ మాటలు స్పష్టంగా వచ్చాయి నీకు రావడమే.
ఓకే మ్యామ్, ఐ థింక్ somebody is on.
ఏం చెప్పలేదు. అవినాష్ ఉన్నాడు కదా, వాడు అవినాష్ రాస్తున్నాడు.
ఓకే తెలియకుండా అయిపోతుంది, అందరిది మైక్స్ సడన్ గా ఆన్ అయిపోతున్నాయి. జస్ట్ బీ కేర్ఫుల్ ప్లీజ్. Right. So dynamics is having a combination of all elements to make the story interesting. Otherwise, it becomes very draggy. What is concise?
Short and apt.
Why short? Because we have a short memory. Nobody has got opika to sit for 2 hours. How many of you remember this story, man? And be honest, huh? Your grandmother must have told you that kaka, that crow putting that stone in that water.
Thirsty crow.
Thirsty crow. Correct. Thank you so much for that name. I forgot completely. The thirsty crow story. Don't lie to me and tell me, and honestly, how much time your grandmother must have pulled that story?
5 to 6 hours.
Correct, no? My grandmother pulled it for 2 days. Between there was one Raja also who came, one donkey also came, one elephant came. My grandmother added her own information and put it for 2 days. One stupid story.
My husband started it a week before, ma'am, to say the story to my son. That is not yet completed yet. We are waiting for the climax.
Now, jokes apart, why do you think I asked you this question? When we were growing up, probably we had no other thing, or we were too excited to listen to the story the way it was narrated to us. But today's generation, nobody has the time. You don't have the time. I don't have the time. The children don't have patience. Correct? And everybody needs results at 2-minute Maggie noodle. The parent will call up and say, Madam, my child has been promoted to UKG, but he still cannot go and sing one rhyme, madam. Arey, bacha hai bhai. So everybody is expecting immediate answers to their, queries, right? That is why the challenge for you is even more. If there is a story that you have come across, which is a big story, but it's a beautiful story. But for this age, this generation, you will have to concise it. So certain elements you will have to delete, certain elements you will have to add, you will have to make it more concise, more viable, more doable in the 30-minute period. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
Right. So when you're doing concise, this is where the garbad happens. Sometimes you might miss the dynamics. Anduke cheptaru, I'm still repeating, I'll come back to it again later, but I'm still telling you now because I remember it. Storytelling is an art. We have to practice it. And when I say practice, it is not reading practice. It is not reading the book practice. It is the articulation practice. So stand in front of the mirror, or if you have children at home, they are the best ones for us. Make them sit and say the story out, depict the story out. Why? Because it has to be done in that limited time given to you. And it has to be interesting, it has to be engaging, it has to be dynamic, it has to be concise, it has to be coherent, it has to be emotional, and the outcome has to be good. Oh my God, itna sara masala ek story mein chahiye. So it needs a lot of thorough reading and practice. Am I making sense to all of you?
Ma'am, ma'am.
ठीक है, emotion भी होना है. क्योंकि when the kids are young, they need to understand what are emotions and how they are shown. Right? Happiness, sadness, crying, laughter, anger, agitation, all these some children need to know. Okay, so they also need to be a part of our story. Whichever story you say, have a quotient, a little pinch of, like we say, na, ek chutki baking soda dale, same time, ek chutki emotion dale. So put that emotion there. Okay, and mind you, emotion is something that needs to be felt, but for children, they can't feel unless they see it. So you'll have to show it, right? Which you teachers are already very beautiful with. Now I'm going to walk you through the important element of storytelling, especially how we can do it for the children. Ready? Right? Can we go on mute, please? Rupa ji. Right. Okay. Storytelling, story reading, story living, and reading aloud. All these are a part of your storytelling concept. Okay? Every word that comes out of your mouth, every expression that you have on your face, every smile that you give at every particular time, every emotion that you depict when you are saying that particular element is observed very keenly by the child. Your voice has to be modulated. That's why when you're reading it aloud, it has to be a modulated sound. We will come to that aspect now. Storytelling, when we talk about it, it has been the oldest way. Our literatures also have come through a storytelling format only. You can have sense of humor if you have that funny bones in you. Please use so. Okay. Stories for children. How many times do you repeat stories when you do a storytelling class for the child? Could anybody just respond? How many times do you repeat a story?
How many times?
How many times? How many times do you repeat a story?
5 times?
3 times, ma'am. 2 to 3 times.
2 times, ma'am.
Okay. 3 is the minimum. 3 is the minimum.
Third one,
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
ask the questions, ma'am. For
Sorry?
the third time. For the third time, I'll ask the questions.
Correct, correct. No, I'm not asking about questions. When do you ask, ma? I ask, पूरा story आप कितनी बार repeat करते हो?
2 times, ma'am.
Good. Ideally, it should be done 3 times. Can anybody
Okay.
tell me why? सोच के जवाब दो. कोई बात नहीं. 3 बार क्यों बोलना चाहिए एक story? For the little kid, not for adults like us. We will give you one time. So not adults, of course. We're talking only about children. So 3 times. Sorry, ma.
Excuse. Ha, ma'am. 3 times means first it is an introduction. Introduction of the characters or whatever it is, and second it will the entire story, and the third form is summing up the story.
Oh, no. You got it wrong. No. What I meant was, oka purti story from the beginning till the end.
Yes,
It is not dividing the story into 3 portions. No. Oka pedda story ni, how many times did you say in the class? From the beginning till the end, ఎన్ని సార్లు మనం రిపీట్ చేస్తాం అది క్లాస్ లో?
3 to 4 times, ma'am.
Then only they
Perfect.
involved. Then
Correct.
only they involved in that.
Correct.
Maximum 3 times.
Maximum 3 times.
Yeah.
Sorry, I would rather say, no, I copied you. No, it's minimum 3 times. Maximum sometimes can go up till 5, depending on how many characters you have introduced, so that the child needs to get used to it, or 4 times at the max. But 3 is the minimum.
According to the time, we have to go, ma'am.
No, correct. But that's what I'm saying. But you can't tell one story and you leave it at that.
Yeah.
Repeat, you cannot repeat on the same day. I'm saying repeat as in, kal wapas aane ke baad we can do a connection again.
In that way, I say always 3 times, ma'am. Like
that's
third
what-
time is always 4 days later on. My third time.
Correct. That's
Just
how.
to-
Yeah, weekly
Make them
thrice,
relax.
ma'am. Weekly thrice, I'll say.
Very good. Very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
But the same story.
Of course, ma'am. Same story.
Proud of you.
But they are interested, ma'am. They are interested.
Because they are not interested. You made it interesting.
Yeah.
They are happy with anything.
They want to do like role play actors.
Yes, ma'am.
In the third element, where one of our colleagues had mentioned that I ask questions, that is exactly when the child will say, you know what, I will answer and I want to talk about this
Yes,
person and
ma'am.
all.
Before asking the question only, they are ready to answer.
Correct. However, how much ever your active class is, it is a blessing to have it. But remember, not all the 5 fingers are the same. Okay? You might have some dumb children like me in your class who will not get the story in one attempt. So you cannot let go of me, right? So you'll repeat it one more time. So which is basically minimum 3, maximum 4. Okay? Why? Because when the first time when you say a child is just listening to you, he's not understanding anything. He's listening to the sound, he's listening to dog, because I know there is a dog in my apartment. Dog means that dog. I know. But I've never seen a cat. What is cat? What did she say that word? I didn't understand. What is a cat? I never saw a cat. So for a child, anything he doesn't see doesn't exist. आपको समझ में आ रहा है? So when you are choosing a story, choose a story where a child can identify most of the elements. Am I making sense? Yeah. Right? Now caterpillar. వినడానికని బానే ఉంటాయి. ఎప్పుడన్నా చూసామా? I must have seen in my life ఒక్కసారి చూసాను caterpillar ని. Once I remember having seen. Yeah, it was dirty. Okay, but I saw one caterpillar. Now caterpillar बोलते picture that you clicked, which where you saw a caterpillar at at your home, and you could put it on the projector. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So never take your crowd for granted. Just not everybody comes from a family that speaks English, correct?
yes, ma'am.
Not everybody at home will speak English either, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever English you're teaching, a child should be able to learn it in the school itself, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
हाँ, उसको ध्यान में रख के काम करना है. Am I making sense to all of you?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why you're laughing, but I'm feeling that I'm not doing the right way.
No, not like that, ma'am. We are not
Yeah.
talking at home also. That's why.
No. It is with everybody, ma. Andar intlo ade. Intiki vachinaka it's only mother tongue.
For that only
Sometimes
I'm
father
asking.
tongue also. But I'm just saying, it is different tongue. Okay? But some people speak English. Now, undi kada. My Doku is there, no? The younger one. She only speaks English. So if you don't speak to her in English, she will respond. Even in Tamil, she will respond in English only. So you will have some brats like that also. But they are lucky people. But not everybody is well versed to, family might not be that open to speak English or that, frequently. So, zyada data de doge to confuse ho jayega bachcha. That's why keep the environment as comfortable as possible. When I say environment, not the school environment, the story environment. Okay?
Yes.
Right. And wherever you feel that this child cannot understand, relate, cannot comprehend, pictures are the best. Animations are the best. Use them. So I'm sure you're already doing so. There's a beautiful video. Why is it not getting clicked? Oh my God, sorry. Give me a moment. I'll show you that video. It's a little big video, but it's a very nice video. I just hope you. Okay. Visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is a funny video and I've been using this for a long time. Okay, Tiki Tembo video. I'm not saying you have to use it. It is just for our learning. Okay, I'm going to just share how this narratives come through. Chudandi, just enjoy it. It's a little big, but it is worth it.
Tiki Tiki Tembo, retold by Arlene Mos.
Audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Noah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Illustrated by Blair Lent. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, it was the custom of all the fathers and mothers in China to give their first and honored sons great, long names.
Did you see something there? He said in
Yes,
China,
ma'am,
they
got
have
it.
a habit of giving their first son a long
Yeah.
name. Emma? So
Yes.
these are important elements that you can get your storytelling more interesting.
But second sons were given hardly any name at all. In a small mountain village there lived a mother who had two little sons. Her second son she called Chang, which meant little or nothing. But her first and honored son she called Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Berry Ruchi, Pip Petty Pimbo, which meant the most wonderful thing in the whole wide world. Every morning, the mother went to wash in a little stream near her home. The two boys always went chattering along with her. On the bank was an old well. "Don't go near the well," warned the mother, "or you will surely fall in." The boys did not always mind their mother, and one day they were playing beside the well, and on the well, when Chang fell in. Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Buddy Lucci, Pip Petty Pimbo ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Most Honorable Mother, Chang has fallen into the well. The water roars, little blossom. I cannot hear you, said the mother. Then Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Betty Lucci, Pip Betty Pimbo raised his voice and cried, "Oh, most honorable one, Chang has fallen into the well." "Oh, the troublesome boy," answered the mother. "Oh, run and get the old man with the ladder to fish him out." Then Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Betty Lucci, Pip Betty Pembo ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to the old man.
Sorry. Okay. I will share this. This is a 9-minute video. I'm not very sure. Do you feel comfortable to go through this video?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Chang has fallen into the well. Will you come and fish him out? "So," said the old man with the ladder. "Chang has fallen into the well." And he ran as fast as his old legs could carry him. Step over step, step over step he went into the well, picked up little Chang, and step over step, step over step, brought him out of the well. He pumped the water out of him, and pushed the air into him, and pumped the water out of him, and pushed the air into him, and soon Chang was just as good as ever. Chang 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 chang. Now for several months the boys did not go near the well. But after the festival of the 8th moon, they ran to the well to eat their rice cakes. They ate near the well. They played around the well. They walked on the well. And Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Betty Lucci, Pip Betty Pembo fell into the well. Chang ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Oh, most honorable mother, Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Berry Ruchi, Pip Berry Bembo has fallen into the well." "The water roars is the one I cannot hear you." So little Chang took a deep breath. "Oh, mother, most honorable, Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Berry Ruchi, Pip Perry Pembo has fallen into the well." "A tiresome child, what are you trying to say?" said his mother. "Honorable mother, Cherry Berry Rambo, Tiki Tiki," he gasped. Pip, I had fallen into the well." "Unfortunate son. Surely the evil spirits have bewitched your tongue. Speak your brother's name with reverence." Poor little Chang was all out of breath from saying that great, long name, and he didn't think he could say it one more time. But then he thought of his brother in the old well. Chang bowed his little head clear to the sand, took a deep breath, and slowly, very slowly, said, "Most honorable mother." Tiki Tiki Tembo, no Sarembo, Cherry Berry Ruchi, Pip Berry Pimbo is at the bottom of the well. "Oh, not my first and honored son, heir of all I possess. Run quickly and tell the old man with the ladder that your brother has fallen into the well." So Chang ran as fast as his little legs would carry him to the old man with the ladder. under a tree,
speaking now.
and with the ladder sat, bowed and silent. Old man! Old man! Shouted Chang.
Can you see?
No, ma'am.
Then, with his very last bit of breath, he shouted, Old man with the ladder! Ticky ticky tambo knows our rainbow cherry pippery pimbles at the bottom of the well! Miserable child who disturbed my dream. I had floated into a purple mist and found my youth again.
Don't talk.
There were glittering gateways and two
Do properly.
If I close my eyes, perhaps I will again return. Little Chang was frightened. How could he say that great long name again? Please, open with a ladder. Please, help my brother out of the cold well. So, said the old man with the ladder, your mother's precious bird has fallen into the well. The old man with the ladder hurried as fast as his old legs could carry him. Step over step, he went into the well and step out of the well with the little boy in his arms.
Can we all go on mute, please?
Pumped the water out of him and pushed the air. Pumped the water out of him, pushed the air into him. But little Tiki Tiki Tembo no Sarembo Cherry Berry Ruchi Pip Berry Pimbo had been in the water so long, all because of his great long name, that the moon rose many times before he was quite the same again. And from that day to this, the Chinese have always started wide to give all their children little short names instead of great long names.
Hey, Harsha.
Right. So you got to tell me what has been your understanding about the video of about 9 minutes. It was about your understanding about the story. Yes. Can you tell me about your understanding about the story, please? Or the video that you saw?
Using the voice changes, ma'am.
Sorry, come again?
Changing the voices according the characters, ma'am.
So were you able to identify? There were 4 characters there, and all the 4 had different voices, but said by the same man.
And most impressive is that Tiki Tiki
Place
ma'am.
only you stand, no?
Kusumaji, can you go on mute, because I think you're having a separate conversation.
What, ma'am?
No, I could hear a separate conversation, not connected to the class. So if you're having a different conversation, kindly be on mute and finish it and come back to the class. Right. So you were talking about different voices that came from the character. Beautiful. Okay. Or kuch?
Saying in the song, singing way.
The name was on a musical, and if you remember, the musical was the same. The rhythm
Yes,
never
ma'am.
changed.
It's very interesting.
Correct. Number 3, what else was your observation? Think carefully. What was the takeaway from the story? Your observation, Baba. You saw the video, right? As an observer, what was your observation? There were pictures, there was background, there were pictures. So what he was speaking and the picture that was coming, we were able to correlate also, correct?
Yes.
जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So whatever you show is much more impactful, and your voice modulation and this art of storytelling, when all put together, becomes even more successful. One last thing. What did you learn from the story? You gave me 4 elements. What was your takeaway? What did you understand from the story? What was the conclusion from the story? Anybody wants to try?
Every person is important.
Wow. Tarini ji, thank you, but I didn't see it coming that way. But in your observation, it is important for me. I learned it. I didn't see it that way. But thanks for the point of view. Thank you. Everybody is important. Sare. Anything else? Last lo cheppedu. He actually said it. How many of you heard it? He said that is why Chinese people have shorter names. There was a concept of long name. Right? Now it's become short. So why are they named short? Because it becomes too long to say. When the crisis happens, it becomes difficult to say.
Yeah,
That's
I
why their
remember
names are
only 4.
Ah, correct. Got it? So
Yes.
ये story में culture का था.
Yeah.
Okay, story में 4 characters थे with different voices. Story में background था, picture थे. Right? And story में takeaway था. Okay, takeaway, but not one, but also what Tarini ji said. Tarini ji said that respecting each other, is important. One which I told you, having short names are also easy names to call. So that if some crisis, at least you have one easy name to call, then singing one big song. So that lots of takeaways when you see like this. Do I make sense? So when you are preparing for your class, I will show you one module how you need to work around the storyline. But for now, let us just stick with what we have been doing. Okay. Preparing for the storyline, these are some important elements. Read the entire story 3 to 4 times. Remember, I told you minimum 3, maximum 4. Yaad hai? Right? Internalize the basic storyline. So what was the basic storyline of this video? What was the basic storyline of this video?
Storytelling.
Imitation of Tiki Tiki
Tiki
Tempo.
tiki talk.
Correct. What was the storyline?
Tiki tiki about the names of the children.
About the storyline was about not why you should not have long. Basic storyline was why we should not have long names. There was another basic element. Listen to your mom. His mom kept telling them, don't play near the well, but they would go and play near the well. Remember?
Yes.
That is also a value that you're trying to teach the child, no? So all these fall under storylines. Whether you are telling it to the child in the beginning or you're telling the child at the end, but this has to be there with you. Always in your mind, Read aloud to familiarize yourself. This is what I was trying to tell you some time back. Reading, I also do a lot of reading and I do a lot of loud reading, but when it comes to expression, it doesn't come because I'm only reading. But when I stand in front of the mirror and I do the expression, I look like a clown at the first place. When I can laugh, my children can laugh. When I'm enjoying, my children will enjoy. Right? So work on your expressions, work on phrases, long name. Do you remember that? Right? Certain phrases have to be exaggerated just to give you that feeling, just to give you that effect. Making sense? Right? Note which portion needs to be modified. I very clearly told you, you have a liberty to change the story to the largest extent possible. You can add some portions, you can delete some unwanted portions and make it as concise and as good as possible. And last but not the least, practice. Practice in front of your teachers to give them your feedback. practice in front of Amma Nana at home, practice in front of our children at home. Don't practice in front of your husband. He's already had too much stories. Okay, jokes apart. So let's move on. Do you see this?
With the picture cards, ma'am.
Correct. You can do that as well. You can use, I used to use calendar. And I must tell you, we Gurtunda every new year, no, we get some calendar together which will have sceneries and all, no?
Yes, ma'am.
I used to use those ones. I used to use those ones because no patience of drawing and coloring. So what I used to do, I used to have these at the backgrounds. So there used to be autumn, there used to be winter with one atta, one atta I used to put behind so that it doesn't fold, punch it on all the four ends. Finished, your background is ready. Okay, so that is how I have done, and you don't have to make extra effort. A child is more interested in the story and what it is seeing. In no time, the focus from the teacher will go into the story automatically, and that is all you need to do. Now, when you're telling a storytelling, when you're doing a presentation of storytelling, not the PPT presentation, when you're doing a physical presentation, first of all is the comfort area. I've always believed in it. Ensure people are comfortable, your audience is comfortable in terms of sitting arrangements. Second, there's no disturbance around. So make sure that you're audible enough. Number 3, you are already very good with all this. I'm just reiterating. Eye contact is something which is very crucial. Every child where you do not have, it's not just child, it is with anybody, even adults. When there are 30 people sitting in a class and you don't give an eye contact to everybody at any point in time, they will feel left out. And when they feel left out, they are ready to disturb the class. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right. So try your best to have as much as eye contact. I don't know if you remember any of my previous sessions where I said there is a lighthouse effect. Have you seen? Do you remember that? Lighthouse means the light will go like this. So when you're looking at the class, you should go like this, finish, and then come back and see everybody like this. This is how it should go. It's called lighthouse effect. Do I make sense? Andarni kalpi it side nunchi start cheyandi. Andarni చూస్తూ come this side. Can we all go on mute, please? Can we all go on mute, please? Thank you. Ma'am, can somebody help me with the mute part? Okay. Your pitch, your word stress, your injunctions that you use, your junctions and pace and the speed in which you're saying, the mood in which you are trying to depict the story, everything has to be consciously. Use obviously when you're can everybody go on mute, please? I'm so sorry, I have to mute people. I'm so sorry. Very quickly, when it comes to the tone element, when it comes to confidentiality, confidence. So when you're talking about this can only come when you're sure with the topic, when you're sure with the story, when you know exactly what character comes where, you know exactly how that character can be represented. Unless you're so sure, your voice will never sound confident. And for communication, for storytelling, you have to be confident. And when you are confident, your voice will be confident. Right? Articulate clearly, know your story well, know your dialogues well, and keep moving around the class. Nobody likes to be at one place. Do I make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Story reading, you know it better. I've just put a slide there. You might have oodles of books in Iris's each branch, I'm sure. So You can sit with the child on the floor, do the reading, or you can make it as a storytelling in action or play at the fourth or the fifth time when you're reading the story for them. But each time you read, your pronunciations have to be clear, your voice has to be loud, your word endings have to be understood, and it has to be slow. Even if it's the fourth time, a little pace can be faster, but it still has to be relatively slow. Why? Because a child has to listen, then think and imagine before he goes to the next line. So after every line, you need to pause a bit. I'm not saying pause for 4 minutes, 3 minutes, at least pause for a couple seconds, 10 seconds, more than enough, and then move on. Am I making sense? Anybody wants to add something here, please? No? Okay, no problem. Right. This is what I was trying to talk to you about. Pause every now and then. Please remember, these are younger, they're just starting their life now. They still don't have a retention power. So धीरे धीरे करो. There will be a lot of pressure from the management कि अरे ये topic खत्म नहीं किया, अरे sh words have not come, अरे t words have not come, अरे what words have not come. There will be a lot of pressure as a teacher for you. I am not debating it. Okay, but do your job well. When I say well, doesn't mean in the well. Okay, I want you to do your job excellent. So even if it is storytelling where you're trying to depict some certain things and it's taking time, it is okay, nothing will happen. How many of you agree with me on this? Do your job well. Don't worry about anything else. It will happen. Everything will fall in place. Don't worry. Nothing will stop. But if you stop, the child will stop learning. So you cannot afford to do that. Make it repetitive. Over and over again. Experience, let them experience the joy of learning to read. They are not reading, you're reading, but let them feel that experience of when ma'am can read it so well, when teacher can read it so well. My God, if I read it, how would it be? मेरे को भी book देखना है. I also want to see what you have seen. I also want to read. I also want to put my finger on that sheet and make it go, go from one word to the other. That enthusiasm is all that the child needs at this point in time. Okay. Create as much as visibility as possible. When I say visibility, in terms of your action, in terms of your tone, in terms of your pictures, in terms of videos, in terms of songs, in terms of music. Dalo. Don't just have your body language as expression. You can use as many props as possible to ensure that your story comes out very lively. Right? Do I make sense? And last but not the least, share the story in one sitting, unlike my grandmother who took it for a longer time. Unlike your grandmother who took it for 24 hours. Okay? Storyline should be limited to one sitting. Because children do not have the retention power, neither do have the recollection power that easily. So if you forget the story, you have to start again. So you might as well finish the story till the end. That's why repetition is required. Are you all with me on this? Okay. Dramatization. This is important, especially when you are, tomorrow's class will be on this. An element of, this is the place where your body is to be used to the ultimate. Your hands, your fingers, your feet, your voice, your eyes, your smile, your cheek, your eye, everything has to be something which should be very dramatic for a child to make the story very interesting. Right? I'm sure you're already doing it. God bless you all. So identify and practice the voice changing. We had 4 voices in that particular story. Okay, and there was only one guy, 4 voices. Imagine the kind of practice he must have done, because not once did he miss anybody. He never mixed any 2 songs. Yes or no? How many of you observed? He never messed 2 voices. Iska voice usko deke, uska voice usko deke, never did. Whose voice had to be there came to that voice. How? It was surely because of practice. Right? Have the right kind of props. How do you stack your story and your props in your respective units? How do you stack them? Can anybody tell me? How do you keep your storyboard and other things safe? How do you stack them? How do you keep them? Are you all, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you for confirming, because for a second I thought I'm going to speak to my own self. Never. In online, this is a headache. You never know who's listening, who's not listening, and whether people are there or not there. So sorry, I didn't mean it otherwise. But my question to you is, I'm sure you all have got your storybooks in place and your props in place. How do you stack them? How do you keep them?
Sequence wise?
Do you have them kept in a folder where, suppose, for example, I need a fox and a grape wala story. ठीक है ना? So I just go to this cupboard and I pick up the pink file for a pink plastic folder. So when I open the folder, I have the picture depiction. Okay, sequential order picture depiction. Then I have props that are made with ice cream sticks. You know, those props are made, colored and kept. Then you have a background that is there, that is being made. ऐसा कुछ है आपके पास sticks?
Ma'am, recently I told this Terpy catches a cold.
Puppet show?
Terpy catches a cold.
Okay, no, but do you, my question is, ఒక్క స్టోరీ కి మీ దగ్గర సెట్ గా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉందా? సో సపోజ్ నేను వచ్చాను అనుకోండి మీ మీ యూనిట్ కి, if I come to your unit and I tell you, can you get me the fox and the
ice cream sticks?
Sorry?
We have a puppet show, like
Correct. You have a puppet show, correct hai baba.
like
My advice to all the units, Radhika ma'am, Dimple ma'am, this is a humble submission. This will be very nice for every unit, okay, to have a couple of folders. Okay. Can I have okay, nimsham mama, somebody is talking and I can't hear all of you. Okay. Can I have your attention now? Thank you. So, Radhika ma'am, Dimple ma'am, please, ye ek baar sun le, and maybe next time we can talk around these. We have some, simple, not so very wow plastic folders, okay, not very good quality ones, okay, you get them also in the market. Every story ke liye, let us keep a folder. It might look expensive to you, but listen me out. So if you don't have one, then you need to do one, because when I'm picking up one set, then I have everything in it. I don't have to run and find out anything else anywhere else. Yes. So just kindly make a note of that. Right. So again, tips and tricks of voice modulation, which is very important. As per every character, your voice should be able to modulate. A rhythm, a song would be super duper hit. I would appreciate if for every storytelling, apart from verbal, apart from your body language, if we can have props also.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you give some other information regarding the folders you are telling how to make it, what to do?
नहीं, you make it नहीं, एक second रुकोगे?
Yeah.
Okay. I will show you a folder that I have. ఒక్క నిమిషం. It's a simple folder. 1 second, I'll show you. Able to see?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. This is the folder.
Ma'am, it's blur, ma'am. We cannot see it.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'll stop the presentation. Maybe that will help. Now, can you see?
It's blur, ma'am.
Because I'll tell you why. Because my background is blurred. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Kanapadutunda?
Yes, ma'am. Clear now.
Yeah.
So, ఇది మంచి quality di, okay? But what I am telling you is, don't pick up these are expensive ones, okay? Anta scene ledu. All we need is, for every story, and the reason why I'm telling you is, with my umpty years of experience, one thing I've realized is, tomorrow, there'll be new children coming, there'll be new faculty adding, okay, some old faculty leaving. So we should not feel a dirt of, we don't have this information. So I pick up one folder, okay, the folder has got the name of the story. Best part, when you open the folder, it has got the background, the scenic view. It has got some finger puppets, or it has got some ice cream stick, props there. Then it has got a storyline, a picture depiction for the children to understand. And the fourth time when we are repeating, when we show the picture, the child will be able to say the story himself just by seeing the picture. Yes or no? So it will be a package. When you pick up one story, you will have everything in it. So one, you do not have to make again and again. Rendodi, it will look very well prepared and look very professional for each one of you. Do I make sense now?
Yes, ma'am.
Scene-wise pictures, if it is possible, great. If it is not possible, not a problem. You can put one background or two backgrounds, keep it in that folder, and keep changing the background and use the props to play around. Okay, I'll show you a few things. I'll show you. But the folder one is my humble submission. If you can do it, you can never have any miss out in your storytelling activity. So super duper hit it will be. You cannot miss out. With the chance ledu. That is how well prepared it will look. Oh baby, babies, I'm sorry, there is no monkey here. Let me show how the monkey looks. Now this for that fellow looks like a rabbit. ఇంటిలో మాకు ఇలా చెప్పి rabbit చెప్పారు, మీరేమో ఇది డాగ్ చెప్తున్నారు. కన్ఫ్యూజ్ లో చచ్చిపోతాను నేను. Which animal to identify? I will die. Manasa ma'am is laughing her gut out. But jokes apart, cheppedi which is correct, no Manasa ma'am? Correct hai kada? Because it is very difficult. तुम घर में हमको बोलता है ये rabbit है, टीचर हमको बोलती है ये कुत्ता है, तो करेगा क्या बच्चा? Confuse हो जाएगा. अंदुके we need to have a standard element. So you will look professional, you will look thorough, and you will also feel good when the story comes out well. Okay? Any questions? Are you all able to relate and understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one question.
Hello, please.
What about the Hindi story, ma'am?
उसमें फर्क क्या है बेटा? सॉरी मैम,
सामने वाला नहीं समझ रहा है.
हाँ, ये बहुत अच्छा है. अब मेरे को ना गुजराती नहीं आती. अब गुजराती में स्टोरी बोले काय का घंटा समझ में आएगा मेरे को.
वही तो बोल रही हूँ, क्या करना?
So remember मैंने एक example दिया था. Not everybody goes home and speaks
Ma'am, I
in
have
English.
a question, please.
One second, let me answer this question. Remember,
Okay,
I also told you very clearly when we started कि सबको समझ में नहीं आता है. Everybody will not go home and speak in English. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember that? And then I said, keep it simple. Aisa language which everybody understands. Aise animals which everybody understands. A prop which everybody understands. याद है?
Yes.
हाँ, हम यही करेंगे. हम यही करेंगे. कैसे करेंगे? Story will go on. Story also will be told 3 times minimum and 4th time maximum. Story का funda will remain the same. However, जब हम उसको बोलेंगे, पिक्चर दिखाएंगे, तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं? कुआं, कुआं, कुआं. बोलो कुआं. बोलो एक बार और बोलो. क्या हो रहा है? उसको ना भी समझ में आए तो उसको पिक्चर दिखेगा. पिक्चर से वो आइडेंटिफाई कर पाएगा. आप समझ रहे हो?
हाँ, बट वो खुद बोलते वक्त तो इंग्लिश ही बोल रहा है ना.
कहाँ बोल रहा है? इंग्लिश. कुआं तो इंग्लिश में कहाँ है?
But when I am asking the full story, he is telling in English only.
Correct, because he's comfortable. He's not sure about that language, so it's okay. अब कितने क्या उम्र है बच्चे की?
Ma'am, 5.
हाँ, मेरी बेटी से मिलो. मेरी बेटी से मिलो. She is 15 years. 10 साल बड़ी है उससे. मजाल है वो लड़की के मुंह से हिंदी निकाल लो तो मैं मान जाऊंगा.
Okay.
So, सस्मिता जी, टेंशन नहीं लेने का. At the end of the day, बच्चे को अगर समझ में आ गया ना स्टोरी, तुम गंगा नहा लिए. पंगा नहीं. पंगा नहीं. बच्चा है वो. Treat him like a child.
Answer all question also. Yes.
So don't worry. Even if he ends up asking you a question in Hindi, like my daughter does, when she will ask a question in English, sigg lekunda I answer her in Tamil. तू मर, तेरे को समझ में आना है, तेरे को समझ में आएगा. That's what I tell. You didn't, Amma, I didn't understand, Amma. Can you tell me one more time? அங்கேந்து எடுத்துட்டு வா. Amma, I didn't understand, Amma. Figure it out.
Losing patience.
नहीं, losing patience नहीं. Ensuring that the child learns to learn that language. She also doesn't like. She hates Hindi. She's not able to talk Tamil.
Oh.
So when you keep telling her in English, she will only learn English. So let her talk in English. Let us reply in Hindi, no?
But I'm not doing at home, ma'am. That's my fault.
Don't kill yourself for it. Your child will learn everything at the end of the day. Don't worry. No, your child will go and he'll conquer the world. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Please tell me.
So you underline the point that if they understand the story, that is fine. Not important about the language.
The whole fundamental of storytelling is understanding the story and values, right?
Okay.
मिल रहा है ना बाप, और क्या चाहिए तुमको जिंदगी में?
No, the way that I share the Hindi stories to my kids is I tell only the characters' names in Hindi, like Chuha or the frogs and all those things.
Everything is in Hindi. If it is Hindi, it is Hindi.
But they don't get the point, right? I mean, they don't understand the story.
That is right. For example, एक कौवा प्यासा था. Correct? One line. एक कौवा प्यासा था.
I repeated 5 times, ma'am.
5 times you repeated. You will ask him to repeat. Rote dhote constipatedly, he will answer. Doesn't matter. Now, first of all, he needs to understand what does this mean. So, ek means one. Kauwa, crow. Pyasa, thirsty. One, crow, thirsty. 3 words identifying.
Yes.
कभी भी जब आप स्टोरी बोलते हो ना, स्टोरी आपको समझ में आता है, उसको नहीं आता है. So you treat him like he knows nothing and you start from there. So Kauwa was what? In that thirsty story, what is happening now? Kauwa was what? In the thirsty story, everything is in English, but Kauwa is still. So are you able to identify Kauwa means crow?
That is the right way of telling a Hindi story, right? No need to tell the total thing completely in Hindi. They're looking like dumb faces when I say that in Hindi.
We are getting recorded.
Yeah.
Dumb faces, we will only get good marks here. Okay, no offenses. Anybody, when you're learning a new language, right? Translation is important for me to identify what is what. However, I still repeat, when you say one sentence, say it in Hindi, then repeat it in English of what it means. Every word has to be said separately. Ek, matlab one. Ek. Ek means one. Kawwa. Two. No, not two kawwas. But
Crow.
Kawwa. Pyasa. Pyasa means thirsty. Right? What is happening? You're trying to. Now you say, Arnav, मैं प्यासा हूँ, पानी लाओ. You will understand two words from here. Two, no, three. मैं means I. Pyasa means thirst. Pani means water. నీకు తెలిసిపోయింది కదా, తీసుకొచ్చేస్తావు. आगे तो ले आएगा पानी. Are you all with me on this? Are you able to relate?
They understand. They understand whole story, but they can't narrate it. That's the thing.
Correct. Why do you expect them to narrate all of it?
Ma'am, the exam in all. In exam.
This is where I will show you. There is something called picture depiction, right? So the whole series of the story is depicted in 6 or 7 pictures. Okay, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you've told the story 3 times. Dukan band. Okay. Next day we get this activity. That's why I said you need to have folders. So everything will be there in that folder itself. So all you need to take out is that picture from there. ठीक है, मैं वो दिखाती हूँ. एक सेकंड रुक जाओ. Let me show you where that picture वाला is. एक सेकंड. ठीक है. अरे यार. हाँ आया. एक सेकंड बाबा. I'll just put it on. दिख रहा है?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
अब देखो. What is this? This is the story of Little Red Riding Hood. ठीक है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I told you the story yesterday. We spoke about the story. Then I asked you questions in the third story. I asked you, what was Little Red Riding Hood wearing? Madam, she was wearing red hood frock. Hey, correct. Who did she meet on the road? What was that animal? So तुमने बोला frogs. ठीक है. So yesterday revision happened. मोटा. ठीक है. Today is the second day. Okay. I show you this picture. Now what is happening here? Tell me. What will happen here?
Recollecting.
So now what will happen? For a teacher who just now told me that a child doesn't recollect, pictorial representation is the easiest way for a child to remember. Are you all with me on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now here, if I show you the picture, you can see pictures, right? You can see and identify, right? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So you think a child will be at least able to see the picture and say, fox is sleeping, it is making a fool. The girl doesn't know, madam. It will eat it. It has to run away. आ रहा है ना story कहीं ना कहीं? आ रहा है ना? Yes.
But we can't show them in screen, na?
No, why not? एक second. What do you mean I can't show in the screen? I didn't understand your question.
Excuse me, ma'am.
No, 1 second. I cannot show in the screen now. मतलब क्या? Can you elaborate the question, please? Something that I didn't understand.
In the classroom, we can't show them, na?
क्यों भाई? एक बड़ा चार्ट पेपर लो. चार्ट पेपर में.
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
पिक्चर्स लगाओ. खत्म. दुकान बंद.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
टेंशन नहीं बाबा. बच्चे हैं. टेंशन नहीं. There is always an alternative. For all the Sasta Sundar Tikau ask me, I will tell you how to do Jigadu. You don't have to spend money. I'm Mahachor when it comes to spending money.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Mahajugadu. I will tell you what to do, what not to do. So chart paper lo, chart paper bhar ke milta hai. Chart paper lo. Take printouts of the storyline. Even if there are no printouts online available, no captions available online, you draw one cartoon thing there. People are not going to, students are not going to judge you for your cartoons. You're going to judge you for the story.
Yes, ma'am.
So even if an elephant doesn't look like elephant, it looks like it is dieting, it is okay.
Okay, ma'am.
It's a dieting elephant. It's okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, I have a language problem. I'm a Telugu only, Telugu language, mother tongue. But my students are from North Indian, ma'am.
Correct.
They are facing a lot of trouble in understanding the Telugu story.
Okay.
So I'm translating in English and again Telugu and expressions, all this sound changing. But even though they'll say, I don't understand, ma'am. So little bit I'm facing trouble to say the story. Mostly language problem, ma'am.
Use a lot.
Telugu language.
That's okay. Use a lot of props. Use a lot of pictures.
Lot of, sorry, ma'am.
Okay, Nimsham. The voice, there's everywhere. I'm going to mute people now. I'm so sorry. Okay. I was saying use a lot of pictures.
Okay, ma'am.
Chala pictures use cheyandi. Ante for example, oka elephant undi ankondi. Elephant pettukondi. Okay. Then you put a rat. There's a show me pictures. If you show me pictures, I just now did for Hindi. It's the same thing for Telugu. Say the story in Telugu. Every single word you break it and explain it to me in English. It is fine. Please understand, this is just a 5-year-old kid. You are expecting him to act like an adult, which is wrong.
Ma'am, actually, they know the story. What they are saying, I know the story, ma'am, but I can't say in Telugu.
Correct. Okay. Okamata, don't misunderstand me. What is, give me an, we are all grown up adults.
Yes.
మనమే హిందీ మాట్లాడడానికి చస్తున్నామంటే వాడు 5-year-old ఎక్కడి నుంచి immediately expect.
Their parents are worried, ma'am. They are worried mostly.
I am also worried why Modi ji is taking my money before it contributes into my account. Can I do anything about it?
How to answer, really facing trouble.
And that is why I said there will be management pressure. Okay, there will be parent pressure. Mana intilo by default cooker undi for a pressure. Okay, so please understand, I always believe a good teacher is a teacher who does it with the pace of what students can handle. Life lo munduku andaru vachestaru. Everybody will come up in life. Nobody will be a failure. Anta scene ledu. It is just that the parents feel they have sent to Iris, so they should be super duper. It utna nahi hai. It is not like you're putting the potato inside and coming out as a mashed potato. It is not like that at all with children. It takes time. That is why I said we are also adults. We should have learned very smart. No, we are smart people, right? We should have learned Hindi. No, why we didn't learn Hindi? Pramayam raledu, chayaledu. That's why, no offenses to anybody sitting here. When I remember when somebody told me, how do you speak 5 Indian languages and 1 foreign language? I said, I had 5 boyfriends. 5 boyfriends of different language. Vaadu avalla ammato em maatladutunnado naaku teliyali. So I had to do investigation. So I learned. And I'm just, it's a lie. It's a bullshit. Okay. But I'm just saying that when you want to learn a language, you have to put in efforts. For a 5-year-old to expect him to put an effort to understand English, to understand Hindi, to understand Telugu, he will die. So make him understand. Don't expect him to speak. He will speak when it comes. Am I understood by everybody? So don't get into the pressure, otherwise you fail as a teacher.
Ma'am, there is a lot of disturbance.
I know, Raja. I'm trying to mute everybody. I don't know who to mute also. My problem is. Okay, now visible. I think now it's okay. So all I'm trying to tell you is do your duty. A child should understand. When I understand, I would love to reply to you, right? If I understand, I would like to reply to you too. That's where the language learning happens. Okay? Was I able to answer your question? Okay. Now let's move on. Can we all go on mute, please? It's a lot of disturbance. Thank you. Thank you. So some important elements which I wanted to show you about a good storytelling. You already know this. I still like to reiterate it. You know, all this we do know once upon a time, long ago, all that phrases are always very nice because our psychology works like when you are trying to tell a story, long time ago, not so far away land, lived a pretty girl named Ramya. So I am like, wow, you know, the long time ago means there's a story coming. Correct? So these elements are good to set the context, right? So to keep the child attentive and attended to all of our thing, you know, nice ones. Moral of the story. The next, you know what happened the next? When we progressed ahead, when we went ahead, you know, all these words are beautiful. You should know how to use them. Right. Some important elements for all you beautiful teachers who are already doing very well, but this will add a little to your one chat. It's like chat masala to your storytelling. Okay. Whenever you're doing a storytelling, can everybody go on mute, please? There's a lot of disturbance. So the chart masala C's that I'm going to give you, first one is circumstance. So this all homework needs to be done before you start doing the storytelling. Okay. So who are the characters? When are they introduced? Why are they there? What is the concept? All this is something as a teacher you need to understand. Create the element of curiosity in children. Do not introduce too many characters, child will get confused. Okay? Keep minimal characters, the child will be able to relate and understand. Always make it conversational, not single, no monologue. It has to be dialogue. Am I understood? And you should have some element of conflict. लड़ाई झगड़ा होना चाहिए, तो जाके मजा आता है. ठीक है? So these are some important 5 C's that you need to keep in mind when you do your storytelling. Okay. This was the sequence I was talking. There was one more coming up for you now. Do you see this? This also should be in your folder. This also should be in your folder of stories. What is this? Can anybody tell me what do you understand by this?
Sequencing of the pictures, ma'am. Like arranging the story in picture.
Correct order. In
Making
order.
This is the one you should do it at the last. Remember the previous story is connecting the story picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Sequence आ गया. अब इसको जंबल कर दो. ठीक है? अब इसको जंबल करके leave it there. Let them come. Let them pick up that picture. Let them identify where will come what. Put the squares. Just make the blocks.
Puzzle game, ma'am?
Yes, ma.
Like puzzle game?
Hanji, but it's like exactly like puzzle game only. You're right. But we will keep boxes for them. Neto, they'll not know how to arrange it. So put 1, 2, 3. So they'll know sequence में 1 आएगा यहाँ पे, फिर second picture यहाँ आएगा, फिर third story इधर जाएगी, फिर fourth उधर जाएगा. So they'll know how to move on the sequence.
Okay,
like first, then next, last.
Correct. And Iti Cheste, this will show you that the child has understood the story.
Okay, ma'am.
Do I make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can also do one more thing. I just now realized I should have done that also. You see some characters, right? Okay, let's take which story do we take? the crocodile and the monkey, there is a story, remember, where they want to eat the heart of the monkey. Do you remember?
Yeah, heart of the monkey. Yes, ma'am.
Stick with that. Stick with that. Huh? So there are two crocodiles, right? One lady crocodile, one male crocodile. Then you have one monkey, correct? Then let us introduce one more character. Monkey's wife. Okay. So there are four characters basically. Ensure that lady monkey and the gents monkey are different, different in terms of, maybe they have a bow or something like that. And same thing with the crocodile. Stick with the story. I'll tell you what to do. Match the following. Match the following. Okay. On the left hand side, put the pictures. Don't stick them. Leave them. On the left hand column, leave the pictures. On the right hand column, write the names of the characters. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
अभी क्या होगा, वो बच्चा वो चीज उठा के he'll start connecting. Now this is a second activity that you can do, where the child is now connecting to the male crocodile as the first name, the second name. अब आपको समझ में आ रहा है? Now he will go deeper into understanding. So one activity is this, the other activity. If you can crack on these activities for storylines, there is nothing that can stop you from being the hero, superhero for your children. You already are. But this will put you in a pedestal.
Yes, ma'am.
Match the following करवा दो. You will be much more thorough कि यार समझ में आ गया इसको, बस we are done with our job. ये story समझ में आ गया, super duper hit. Now you understand why I'm asking you to keep a folder for every story?
Yes, ma'am.
So the more well equipped we are, the more better we can crack this storytelling. Do I make sense to all of you? Are you able to relate and understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is my favorite. Aap dekho, this is just an idea, okay? You don't have to copy word to it. You can change the words that you want. But here is recapping of understanding. Remember some time back, some teachers were saying, he understands the story, but he doesn't want to say. Okay, he doesn't want to say the whole story, but maybe he's good with characters. He might tell you the character's name. So, sometimes you can have a single sheet for every child. Today I said fox and fox and the grape story. So Advit, when I write Advit's name, so who is the main character, and Advit has been able to tell me all the main characters, so I give him 10 points there. Then what is happening? क्या समझ में आ रहा है आपको इससे? What happens when you do recap of understanding?
Child can answer everything correctly.
We can know the child, how the child is connecting to the story, the parameter levels.
Correct. These are just the parameter levels. And this is not a parameter level for anybody else but you. For example, like one of the teachers said that I am Telugu and the fellow doesn't understand Telugu, correct? But is he able to identify the characters? When I tell Gopal, is he able to identify who Gopal is from the two boys? If he is, super. He's understood. समझ में आ गया? डाल दो, tick mark. Is he able to understand where the garbad was when I was telling him story? So, Advit, would you tell me ఎక్కడ ఫైట్ అయింది చెప్పు, ఎవరితో ఫైట్ అయింది గొడవ, గోపాల్ ఎవరితో ఫైట్ చేశాడు చెప్పు నాన్న. హూ డిడ్ హి ఫైట్ విత్ గోపాల్? హూ డిడ్ హి ఫైట్ విత్? టెల్ మీ. Was he able to identify? So this is not to be done for everybody, otherwise for day long you'll be doing this only. This is not to be done for every child. This is to be done for those children who you feel need attention. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
This will actually help you. This will actually help you. Any questions on this? You speak both in Telugu and English, both. You speak in Hindi and English, both. First you tell in Hindi, बताओ कहाँ लड़ाई हुई, किसके साथ लड़ाई हुई गोपाल की बताओ? Who did Gopal fight with? Tell me the name. फट बोल के आंसर आएगा. नाम बताओ. Tell me the name. नाम बताओ जल्दी बताओ. नाम name कहीं ना कहीं resonate होगा वो. Are you all able to understand what I'm saying? Right? Yes. Does this recapping, you think it will be of any add value to your storytelling? Do you think so?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, somebody had a question? No? Okay. What time are we in? Amma, we are at 4:44. I'm still a little way late. Now, you might be wondering so much of Gyan. There is one person, one of the famous Aristotle, he also said, people understand information much better when it is in a good story-lined way. And for a good story, you need to have these 7 elements. We have discussed this before with different words. But I wanted to tell you, this is not something new. People have been telling it for, our civilization is the oldest civilization. The Indian civilization is the oldest. Okay. Even we have been saying the same. So dialogues should be remembered. Nice dialogues, punch dialogues, good information dialogues, not long dialogues. Okay, decor. If you remember, there was a decor, if it's a room environment, then you should have good curtains, being put, when I say put, in the picture, not literal pictures around. When I say decor, if you're trying to show them a house, then the sofa, the picture of sofa, the ambience, the light, the fan, everything should be visible. Acha dikhna chahiye. Okay. Melody, song, we had it in the song in that the rhyming story. Okay. Then spectacle. It's not my glasses. What does that mean? What does spectacle mean? Spectacle. Dhasu.
Visible, ma'am.
Visible, acceptable, lovable, all this, all this bill, not the bill, of course, the bill. Okay, those are all superlative degrees. So spectacle is must. It was a spectacular show, bolte hai na? Spectacular movie, spectacular drama, spectacular show. That means everything that involved the show, from the parking to the sitting area to the food to the concert to the songs being chosen to the guys who came and played to the music system to everything was super duper hit. Okay, theme. Always start with a theme in mind. You should know what your theme is. Is it a outdoor theme, an indoor theme? Is it a theme which is just related to one room? All that is a very... how many of you remember the movie Pushpaka Vimanam?
Silent movie it was.
Correct. Thank you so much. And how many of you remember that movie? Okay, you should watch it if you have not watched it. It's in Hindi also. It's a silent movie, so any language any people can watch. So jokes apart, there were only two very important plots or a theme of the movie. The theme of the movie was being silent. Okay, and the plot of the movie was only at 2 places. One was the hotel room, and one was his room. The movie was shot in only 2 places. The whole movie was shot in 2 places. Okay? So be careful if you are using, people are going to the beach, then people are going to the desert, then people are going to the waterfall, then people, then you need to have so many different plots and so many themes and so many, oh my God, you will have a tough time. Okay, so keep it minimal. a child will get confused with too much of data. And keep the characters minimal because we are looking at an audience which is small, younger in age. Okay? Now, this is my favorite. Almost on the same lines. 4 P's in storytelling: people, place, plot, and purpose. If you're creating your own story, I'm proud of you. Please create. Enough of all the stories that we've been hearing since the time we were kids. If you can create a story of your own, super duper hit. But these are your core elements you need to focus upon. Okay? Right. Number of people in the story. Where does the story take place? Where is the conflict? Where is the journey? Where is the rifts? Where are the issues that are happening? Is that very evident and visible so children are able to identify? And last but not the least, the purpose of why anyone cares about this kind of a story. Why should anyone listen to my story? Okay? So these are some 4 important P's that you need to understand and remember. We are almost coming at the end. After this, I'll be more than glad to take up questions, right? So some quick tips and tricks for teachers. You're already doing a fabulous job. If any of these tips can add value to your work, kindly feel free to use them. Okay? First one, every part must be essential. When you say every part, anything important that is there that they're trying to say? Any idea? What does every part must be essential means?
We should not leave any part of the story.
Making attentive.
Ledu.
Important, ma'am.
Every character, including a tree. If a tree is been added, then it is essential, means it is important. Otherwise, don't put it. It'll create a lot of confusion. Ma'am, I saw 2 butterflies flying that side up there, madam. You did not tell anything where they were going, madam. This was not a part of the story only. Why did you put butterfly there? So much of confusion. Right? Don't go by my animation. I am just telling you, you can expect anything from children. So कुछ भी ऐसा चीज मत डालो जिसको तुम justify नहीं कर सकते story में. Am I understood?
Ha, ma'am.
Right. Next, you must have a hook in your hook means it's not your. You understood, no? Not that hook which holds our dress together. What does hook mean? Excitement.
Interesting.
Interesting start. Interesting. Some people start off with a song. Some people start off with a rhyme. Some people start off with a poem. Some people start off with, an animation. You can start a story any way you want. Make your story interesting. But for a child of that age, any story is interesting. Okay. But when you get into this habit, it'll be very nice. Third important element for tips of teachers, draw a theme out of your story. Pata lagao kya dena cha rahe ho? What are you trying to give them as a takeaway, as an understanding? Okay. I always say communication is not about complication, it is about simplicity. So keep it simple. Have minimal characters. Have a wonderful story. Make eye contact and use your body language to the extent. Use vivid language that the child can understand. I again repeat, 5 fingers are not the same. So if you have 30 students in the class and 15 students speaks fabulous English, doesn't mean you go out full flow. You have another 15 who don't. Because they might go back to their home and not speak English at all. So have a language which everybody can understand and relate. Remember, if you say something which I don't relate, I will cut off from what you're saying and I'll disturb the class more. So if you want me to be involved, you speak a language I can understand. Do I make sense?
हाँ मैम हाँ मैम
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Use movements. Please, ये मैंने बहुत सारी देखी हैं, and with my experience I'm telling you, एक जगह में तो खड़े नहीं होना पड़े. Remember, there was this place where in the video that I showed you, he goes to the he goes to the old man to get the tell him to get the ladder. Remember? You know, that scene comes twice. Once when the elder brother falls, once when the younger brother falls. They go to the old man to call him to get him with the ladder to go inside the well and pick the fellow up. Right? So when you go in, you walk, you show them. Do not, storytelling should never be done with no motions. Walk. Try and see if you can pretend how a person gets down into the well to get the little fellow out. You can stand fully strong and tall on your legs and then slowly bend your knees and reduce your weight so that it look like you're going down. ठीक है, बहुत सारी चीजें आप कर रहे हो. God bless you. If there's anything that you can add from here, please do so. Okay. Use dramatic pauses. What are dramatic pauses? Pauses are one, dramatic pauses are the other.
With expression.
God bless you. With expression. Pause again. Your eyes are going here and there and here and there. Your mouth is wide open. You're like, huh? The child is like, shit, man, what did you say? These are called dramatic pauses. Pauses bhi hone chahiye, dramatic pauses bhi hone chahiye as per the need of the story. Change your voice jitna, and this will only come with practice. Shamelessly try it. Do not say it in your mind, and I'm again and again repeating to all the teachers, do not practice it in your mind saying, okay, this voice will come like this voice will come like, unless you hear and you are convinced, the audience will hear and will not be convinced. So you have to practice. Okay. Make the ending very strong with an important takeaway point. Have one important takeaway. Do not make it multiple because a child of that age might not remember too many points. Make one, but one strong point. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. A few more coming up very quickly. Now, my favorite line is the 11th one. Do you see it? Tell the truth even if it is different. Earlier, if you remember stories, and don't lie to me, okay? Because I am somebody who tries my best to be, at least when I'm doing my sessions, I know what I'm expecting. How many times our parents have taught us in the story, saying, keep adjusting. It is nice to adjust. It is not right to speak against parents. Do you remember those days? Do you remember those stories?
Yes.
Be obedient. Do you remember those stories?
Yes, ma'am.
Now come back to the reality. At what age we are in? How many times we have been hit by that dialogue? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And it has made us realize, shit, man, once our parents should have told you don't have to take, remain like this forever. Wherever you feel it is necessary to talk, you should talk. I wish they had taught us, no?
Yes. True, ma'am. True, ma'am.
I always believed in it, that those days were good days of teaching, but these are a different way of teaching. Today, a child, as a teacher, you're building up the character of a child. It's a very important time for you. So do not say anything which is a lie. Okay? If somebody is beating you, in a story, somebody is getting beaten up or somebody is getting bullied, it is okay. Don't fight back. That is not what is supposed to be. Okay, I have another person to mute. Right. Next one, make the characters relatable. Now you understand why I said characters should be similar or familiar. Sorry, not similar, familiar. They should be able to relate. How a mouse looks, how an elephant looks, how a car looks, how a bullock cart looks. I have been raised in a city. I've never seen a bullock cart. And you suddenly introduce the bullock cart in the story, I will not know what to understand of that bullock cart. What is bullock cart? I don't know what it is. That is where it is important to introduce the picture. Am I making sense to all of you? Okay? Have your story provide an answer to the problem. Do not leave the problem unattended. Always should have an answer to a question. Know your endings before you begin. This is for us very important. Sometimes we ourselves get carried away. I don't know about you people. I to Mahan. I have to get carried away only. I'll forget. I'm like, oh shit, where did I go? What did I do? This I don't do it for little children. I will not lie. But for I've done it for college, and I know what I'm talking. So I'll go into some other lane and I'll forget where I've gone. So for people like me, who handle a very mature or bigger crowd, okay, it is very important to know the flow and especially know the ending. You should know when to stop. You should know when to start. Next important, this is important for teachers of the audience that you handle currently. Work on these 5 senses. Sound, sight, touch, taste, smell. These are 5 sensory organs we have. Yes or no? Right? So use it. Use it. Ab grapes dikha diya. You've shown me grapes in the picture. Then you had one useless plastic grapes in the class. You showed me that also. It looks so stupid. Anyway, I cannot comment much because I have never seen grapes. So I'm seeing that plastic grape now. You said, see, grape looks like this, green in color. Sometimes it is what color is that? Grapes is
Black.
No, black grapes.
Purple.
Thank you.
Purple.
Purple.
Purple. Thank you. I'll never get that word right. Purple in color. Now, purple, I don't understand. I don't know what purple is, but at least green I can see because green grapes you're showing me in plastic. Point taken. But I've never tasted it. And you're telling me grapes are supposed to be very sweet and nice. How do I know? Whereas if you say, yesterday when Aditya, how many of you remember Aditya's snack box? Aditya had got grapes yesterday, remember? Advait, you also ate one. Aditya gave you. Remember the green color small? क्या हो रहा है? क्या हो रहा है उसके दिमाग में? What is happening in his mind?
Recollecting.
And I'm feeling the taste in my mouth. Now, if I tell you honestly, if I tell you about Golgappa, how many of you will get water in their mouth? It is not about the Golgappa wala. I am talking about the Golgappa as such. I get water in my mouth when you say Golgappa. I'll be like, अच्छा कितना भैया और प्याज डालना, भैया थोड़ा सा पानी ज़्यादा, भैया खट्टा ज़्यादा डालना. What is happening? That water starts coming in the mouth.
Mouth watering.
Correct. Now, why is that mouth watering? Because I'm able to connect the taste. समझ में आया? So, figure that out. All these are vital sensory, feelers. Keep them active. How many of you remember I had a pink color rose to my hair yesterday? How many of you remember having smelt it? How did you find that smell? Did you like it? How was the smell? Sour or sweet? Because I smelt the rose, I know there is something called smell, no? Otherwise, I don't know what smell means. So, jitna bhi aap activity kare, try to get one of these or two of these sensory, feelers in the child. Do I make sense? Right. The story should be trustable, obviously. Don't beat around the bush, and it should be a story that is good. Okay, where a child can believe in it. Right. There was once a case that came up in the US, okay, where my sister had sent her daughter to a play school, and there was a story was telling a story and all that. She heard it, and children have this very good habit of coming in, telling it back at home. This little one also came home and told my akka, Amma, and my sister next day went off to the school because it talked about racism. You getting what I'm talking? So unknowingly, the teacher had no wrong intent. Her takeaway was something very different, but the child's takeaway was something very different. That's why please be careful of the stories you use so that it is not controversial. Right. Invite interactions. Always have a dialogue, not a monologue. Okay. Have a goal in mind, and the goal has to be happy ending. But it has to be a happy ending after covering up all the obstacles. Only then if you ask me, use props like crazy. Those are the best things to do. Okay. And last but not the least, create an extraordinary, out of ordinary kind of a feeling for the child. Okay. So, and now I'm open to questions. Please feel free to ask me. If there are anything that I can help you with, let me know.
Ma'am, this is Mansa teacher.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Ma'am, I use all 3 languages, ma'am, when I explain the story. Because of the children sidewise, I see them. Because of this face expression, I use 3 languages to understand them, the story.
I think it's the best way to do so. It's the best
and
way to do.
I ask the questions also, ma'am. Randomly questions, I pick the questions and I ask them. They give the quick answer also.
Student, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to know. And it's a very smart way to do. Okay, story ni, okay, sari, 3 languages of Chappadam is Gopatanamandi. It's a very beautiful way of, it's a strategic move actually. Very nice.
They do with action also. They play the character also.
So sweet, so sweet. So good. You're a beautiful teacher. Congratulations. But that's nice. That's nice to know you're using all the 3. Very nice. You're improving, you're improving 3 languages in a child. At class, that's a beautiful trait, Andy. Telikunda, 3 languages, getting into the child's head. It's amazing. Yes. Good.
I do the action also, they tell the story name also. If I do the action also, they start telling the story also.
So sweet, Andy. So sweet. No, you are really adding a lot of, learning skills into the child, language learning.
If I tell them the red shoe, whose red shoe it is? Sarah breaks her shoe. They start telling the shoe name also and the character also.
Amazing. That's so beautiful. Inka, that is the biggest satisfaction a teacher can get.
Yes, ma'am. I feel very happy with my children.
So proud of you. I'm sure they are equally blessed to have you as a teacher. Actually.
Yes, ma'am.
Very true. It's a blessing to know you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Anybody who wants to share about today's experience, or you want to add value to the class today?
Ramya ma'am, I'm Sujata ma'am here.
Please, Sujata ma'am, tell me.
See, Dimple ma'am, Radhika ma'am, and me, Sujata, we go on visits to the schools.
Yes.
Okay. And when we have been to the schools, most of the teachers were asking about session on storytelling or session on how to teach rhymes and stories. So most of the teachers must have got their answer by this training now.
That is what you assume, ma'am. I need to know. We need to know when the teachers.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. That is what I wanted to ask the teachers to reply on the same which I mentioned now. So most of the teachers who had queries on storytelling, please raise out your voice, teachers, about your doubts that you had, how to go about with teaching storytelling in the classroom.
Yes, this is a nice platform you can ask, and you can also, oh, by the way, we have a session tomorrow as well.
Yes.
So you can also ask me tomorrow. Immediately, don't feel pressured on it. Anta scene ledu. So please recollect it, keep it handy for tomorrow. Even if you feel up to it to ask tomorrow, I'll be more than glad to help you with it. But anybody who wants to ask and they have their questions ready, may please shoot the questions.
Okay, Ramya ma'am. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Ramya ma'am. It was really a wonderful session. And I thoroughly enjoyed and learned many new things also, right?
Even we also, ma'am.
Updated myself
Even we
through your session.
Thank
And
you.
as you said, teachers, you can just jot down your points, whatever you want to ask. Maybe you're not able to ask right now. Maybe you can jot it down, and tomorrow you can ask Ramya ma'am during the query sessions or question answer sessions.
Sure.
Okay,
Right?
ma'am. Sure.
Right.
Sure, ma'am.
Looking forward to seeing you
Sure,
all.
ma'am.
I hope
Thank you so
today's
much,
class
Ramya
made
ma'am.
some sense.
Yes, ma'am. It was wonderful.
Chalo, I'll see you guys with the new topic tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless you all. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Thank you, Ramya ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you,
God bless
ma'am.
you.
All the
Thank
teachers do
you.
remember
Ma'am,
tomorrow we
thank
have a
you,
session
ma'am.
on 19th tomorrow, how to use puppets and muppets for teaching. So
Okay,
please do
ma'am.
attend the training session tomorrow between 2:30
And
to
thank
5:30
you,
p.m.
Sujata
Sure,
ma'am,
sure,
Bokka
ma'am.
nimsham. Sujata ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
Bokka nimsham.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever props is possible for you to, if you have it in school, if you're joining
And
it from
whatever
school,
teaching aids they have made,
whatever
ma'am.
teaching aids you have, anni teeskocheyandi. Let us
The
have it
teachers,
handy.
few of the teachers made their teaching aids while teaching their stories and rhymes. They can get those also.
Please get them. I would really appreciate teeskocheyandi, and then we can go on. Sarina?
Sure, ma'am.
Right,
Okay.
ma'am. Chalo. God bless you all. Bye. Stay
Okay.
blessed.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you, teachers. Thank you very much for attending the session today.
Thank you,
And,
ma'am.
please do
Thank
attend
you.
tomorrow as well. You'll be
Okay.
missing out some interesting things which you might be missing that. No, don't miss the session, please.
Okay,
Sure,
ma'am.
sure.
Okay.
We
Thank you
will,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.